Dear students, as promised, I am back again to welcome you to my YouTube channel, and this time I requested my colleague Mr. Abhisek Gupta sir to make a presentation for the practical portion of accountancy of grade 12 so that it can ease your examinations. Thank you very much, Abhisek Gupta sir. Thank you all of you, and I wish you all the best once again. Best of luck.
Hello my dear students. Okay, I am back here again with the video of practical portion of accounts that is going to be asked in the coming examination of accounts. Clear? So now there are many topics of practical over here in our class 12 accounts, but I have listed out few very important because as the course has been simplified into the very smaller part, therefore the marks of the question also has been simplified. So in this way our questions, major portion of questions that are coming in the examination, the practical part, I have listed out few chapters out here, and I am going to give a brief instruction how to do and how to what will be the marks content, what type of questions will be coming in the examination. About that part I am going to give you a short hints and information regarding it. Clear? Okay, so now first of all we are starting with our chapter accounting for shares. Clear? In this chapter generally the question that will be asked is for 5 marks, in which you will be asked entries for application, allotment, calls money and forfeiture. If you all remember, if you all know, or if you all have seen into if you all have seen in the model question, that the question that previously used to come for 6 marks, the questions that were asked for the 6 marks just as entry for application, allotment along with forfeiture. Yes, that type of question is going to be now asked for 5 to 6 marks. Clear? From this topic only, before previously from shares chapter we used to have 2 questions, entries for application and allotment, simple one type of question for 3 marks, another question used to be for 6 marks. In that question the questions were asked about entries for allotment, calls money and forfeiture, but now only one question is going to be asked, that is for 5 marks for sure, and that in that case entries for application, allotment, calls money and forfeiture, that type of question you have to prepare. And if you all remember, more 3 marks question used to come for entry for forfeiture, reissue. So that question is now not as important as what this part of the question is important, because as the course has been simplified, the content of the questions also has been decreased. Clear? So one of the important topic from the shares chapter is entries for application, allotment, calls money and forfeiture, that will be asked for around about 5 to 6 marks. Similarly, after that from the same chapter there is entry for issue of shares for other than cash. In this part what you, the question will be asked, it will be only for 2 to 3 marks, and in this part what you will be asked is that how the business, how is the share issued for the purchase of business. So in that case the 2 marks types of question will be coming from entries for issue of shares other than cash. Clear? So these are the 2 probable topics that are going to be coming from the shares. Previously from the shares chapter we used to have question about 15, around about 15 marks, but now we will be having questions only about 5 to 6, let's say about 8 marks, because 5 to 6 marks from this topic, 5 to 6 marks from this topic, and after that 2 marks from the topic entries for issue of shares. Clear? And another probable topic, even though this question hasn't been asked in the model question, but still we need to prepare for it, as in the place of this topic entries for issue of shares other than cash, another important topic in the alternative that may be asked is accounting for debenture, and in this part only entry for issue and redemption of debenture, that type of question may come for 2 marks. So let's say this, out of these 2 topic any one topic is going to be asked. Clear? So you all may prepare for entry for issue of shares other than cash, and along with that also prepare for entry for issue and redemption of debentures. Clear? So in this part you need to write down only 2 journal entries. One journal entry is for entry for issue and the another part is redemption of debenture. So only 2 journal entries are to be prepared. This question may be asked for 2 to 3 marks, and this question also may be for 2 to 3 marks. So overall from accounting for shares and debentures we can say that the total marking is about 8 to 10 marks, not more than that. Clear? So In this way, this out of this 2 chapter you are getting 8 to 10 marks. Clear? Now next chapter is final accounts of a company. In the 100 marks question, what we used to have is that there were 2 parts, 12 marks from the final accounts of a company and 8 marks from the worksheet part. But as the question has been simplified, therefore what we can say that final accounts of a company is compulsory, it's definitely gonna come. Therefore final accounts of a company is an important question from this chapter. Worksheet is also important, though due to the simplification of the course, only final accounts of a company will be asked. Clear? And that also the question will be coming round about only for 8 marks. Previously we used to have final accounts of a company for 12 marks, but now we will be having final accounts of a company only for 8 marks, round about 8 marks. And the worksheet chapter is not gonna come. Let's see, because final accounts, if the question is asking final accounts, then it's very less chances of coming worksheet. Even though if worksheet is gonna come, then it will be coming only for 3 marks. It is very rare chance to come for worksheet, but final accounts of a company is compulsory. That's definitely gonna come, and the question won't be that long as what we see in the model questions or book. The question will be in the very short form. We can also say that the question will be coming from PL, profit and loss account, PL appropriation and balance sheet. Trading account may or may not come. Trading account may or may not be compulsory. Question may be prepared in such a way that you may have to start from profit and loss account, profit and loss appropriation account, and then balance sheet. So from this final accounts topic, the question that we are going to have is around 8 marks. Clear? After that, next topic is ratio analysis. Now ratio analysis, previously in the 100 marks examination, the question used to come for 5 marks. But now as the course has been simplified, you will be asked only for 2 marks. And the most probable topics that you all need to study regarding this ratio analysis topic is liquidity ratios. Liquidity ratios. Clear? Liquidity ratios. Similarly after that, solvency ratios. Similarly profitability ratios. So from either of these topics, 2 questions are going to be asked. If it is from liquidity ratio, calculate the current ratio and quick ratio. If it is from solvency ratio, the question may be asked debt equity ratio and debt to total capital employed ratio. And if it is from profitability ratio, net profit margin, return on assets, or return on shareholders equity. So that type of only 2 questions is going to be asked under this topic. So ratio analysis, which previously used to come for 5 marks, now has been simplified only to the 2 marks. So under this topic, majorly the most important item, let's say, is liquidity ratio. Under this you have to study about current ratio, quick ratio, and similarly solvency ratios also has got only 2 ratios, that is debt equity ratio and debt to total capital employed ratio. So from this topic it is probable, from these 2 topics it is very much probable to come to ask the question for 2 marks. Similarly profitability ratios is also though important as net profit margin, return on assets. So that type of question, only 2 questions can be asked for ratio analysis portion. So from this chapter we are having only about 2 marks question. Clear? Now the next topic, next chapter, that is cash flow statement. See there is cash flow statement and funds flow statement. Now the students are in the confusion that which chapters are more important for practical portion. Now cash flow and funds flow, both the chapters are equally important for the practical, but still cash flow statement chapter is more important than the funds flow statement. As funds flow statement contains used to be asked only for 5 marks, now there is probable chances of asking funds flow statement in the theory portion, as I discussed in my previous video that funds flow statement may be asked in the theory part. So therefore you may prepare theory from this funds flow statement chapter. Practical is also important, but as the course has been simplified, so cash flow statement is more important. This chapter is more important than funds flow statement. So under this chapter the marks may be about 6 marks. Clear? So cash flow statement question is it's sure that it's gonna be asking for direct method, and under direct method also what we need to keep in mind that question will be very simple in the simplified form. So you need to only identify the activities into operating activities, investing activities and financing activities, and then find out the what is the ending balance of cash. So under this heading also, cash flow statement also, question will be quite simple, as there won't be any complex item just as preparation of ledger account. There won't be any sort of tough questions. Only the thing that you need to keep in mind is that you need to prepare about cash flow from operating, cash flow from investing and cash flow from financing. The items of investing such as purchase of plant and machinery, purchase of land and building, sales of plant and machinery, that will be given in your additional information only, or that will be itself be given in the question. Similarly about financing activities, issue of equity share capital, issue of debentures or redemption of debentures, dividend paid. One more item, dividend paid, keep in mind. Cash flow statement generally in the financing activities must have dividend paid, and that also under the heading cash flow from financing activities. So in that, dividend paid, issue of equity shares, issue of debentures or redemption of debentures, these are few terms that are listed under the cash flow from financing activities. Similarly, cash flow from operating activities, the number 1 heading, cash flow from operating activities, will definitely have items such as sales, cost of goods sold or purchase, similarly payment of wages, similarly payment of interest, taxes. So that sort of items is going to be posted in the cash flow from operating activities. So the question will be in the simpler form. Only the thing is that you need to know the basic content of the chapter and what are the topics that are to be put under the 3 different headings: cash flow from operating, cash flow from investing and cash flow from financing. So from this chapter, the most probable question that may be asked is for 6 marks, and the question will be asked from the direct method. So so if you are in the dilemma to prepare which chapter for practical from cash flow statement or funds flow statement, then this is one of the most important chapter for the 6 marks part. Clear? And in funds flow statement you may practice 1 to 2 questions, but give more priority to the theory part. Clear? Just as what is funds flow statement, what do you mean by funds from operation, what do you mean by funds flow. So that type of questions may be asked from the funds flow statement. Similarly, another practical important chapter is cost sheet. From cost sheet it is expected about 6 to 8 marks question of about 6 to 8 marks. So cost sheet questions, generally the question maybe in the cost sheet there are two ways of asking the question. In one question there will be only simple cost sheet, and the other question will be cost sheet and along with the preparation of tender cost sheet also. So cost from the chapter cost sheet we are going to have the questions for about 6 to 8 marks, and under this topic we can identify the whole chapter into 2 types of question. One of them is cost sheet along with the adjustment of stock, and the other part is cost sheet along with the tender cost sheet. So both the parts are equally important, and in the cost sheet with the value of stock given, in that case in this year of question there is rare chances of coming the question of opening stock and closes of work in progress, finished goods, calculation of because it is time consuming. So therefore the question may be generally asked in the simple form of questions. You all can practice the questions in which there is no more adjustments, very few adjustments. So that type of questions can be prepared from the cost sheet. And similarly also focus on tender cost sheet, as if you are having the question of also tender cost sheet, then the question may be divided into this part 4 plus 4 marks, as 4 marks for cost sheet and 4 marks for the tender cost sheet. So therefore in that case what you need to do is that first of all prepare the cost sheet, calculate the required percentages, and then prepare the tender cost sheet. So in this way the question may come for 6 to 8 marks. Most probable 6 marks, but you can give a space of about 6 to 8 marks. So that type of question is going to come from the chapter cost sheet. And the final important chapter for practical is cost reconciliation statement, 3 to 4 marks, and in this portion you will be only given 3 to 4 differences. Clear? One of the first of all heading might be given net profit as per financial account or net profit as per cost account, and only 3 to 4 differences will be given. So the question will be very simple. Only you need to identify which are the items that are going to be in the add column and which are the questions that are going to be in the less column, and then you need to find out the net profit as per financial account or cost account, the opposite of the, if the question is given in the financial accounting, then you need to answer in the net profit as per cost accounting. If the question is net profit as per cost account, then you need to find out the answer as net profit as per financial account. So in this way what happens, question will be around only about 3 to 4 marks. Now to sum up overall from this practical portion, there are many other chapters that I have excluded out of here. That is accounting for material, just as calculation of economic order quantity, number of orders, similarly LIFO-FIFO method. These chapters are also equally important, but what we can say that these are the major chapters from which our model question also has been prepared, and these are the most probable chapters from where question are relevant to be asked in the current situation of the question for the 40 marks. Clear? And now more chapters you need to keep in mind is that LIFO-FIFO. If LIFO-FIFO is going to come, then in the place of cost reconciliation statement you may have another question is LIFO, preparation of the stored ledger account by the LIFO or FIFO method. But the must compulsory fixed question that are going to come is from final account. We are definitely going to have one question that is for 8 marks, that is fixed. Similarly, another important chapter is cash flow statement. From this also one of the question is definitely fixed, that is for about 6 marks. And another important cost sheet. Now other these chapters such as cost reconciliation statement, funds flow statement, you may or you may not have the questions, but let's expect that we are going to have question even from the cost reconciliation, as it is one of the easiest chapter. So in this way prepare for cost reconciliation and don't leave the other topics such as stored ledger account, EOQ, calculation of wages for labor. So that are the short type of question. There's very less chances for this type of question to come in the examination. Even though we need to practice 2 to 3 questions, it's you needed to worry about that what type of question is going to come. Don't mess up yourself, just point out these few topics and make sure that you are able to solve the questions of these topics. Definitely you are going to secure a very good marks. So best of luck for everyone, best of luck to everyone, and may you all secure a good marks in accounts. Okay, thank you everyone.